Sorry for the mess, guys. I know it's not very clean, but what is clean is this new intake. If you want to learn how to install it, watch the whole video. Before we get into the removal and install of all the intake horns, let's go through the hardware. So here you just have your supply nuts and bolts. Here we have the grid heater adapter. You're going to use the grid heater that's already on your truck. Then you're going to use this as a spacer for the other one. You have 4 of these gaskets. There's 2 right here and 2 in this kit. Like I said, you have your intake gaskets, and then you have the intake plate gasket, the billet intake plate itself. It looks okay, really not too great. There's a lot of machine marks on here, like right here. I've already tried to polish this stuff out and I can't get it out. A lot of machine marks on here. Then you got your dual intake, and I think all this stuff is going to look so cool when it's in the truck. So let's go ahead and get into the install. So obviously before we install the other parts, we have to take off these parts. To take off the intake horn, there's 5 bolts. I only have 4. There's 1 here, 2 on top, and then there's 2 below back here. All right, here comes the intake horn and the grid heater. Now we're gonna wanna remove the intake temp sensor, which is a 7/8. Now we got the 10 intake plate bolts. All right, this should just pop up. And I just put a new gasket on here, so I'm just gonna reuse this. Now take the Deviant billet intake plate. Woo! With all this new shiny and painted stuff, it makes the rest of my engine look like crap. Using a 6mm Allen, we're gonna go ahead and tighten these down. Let's thread the studs in. This stud right here is giving me a little bit of trouble. So an easy way to tighten down studs is you need 2 nuts. Once you have these nuts butted up together, this top nut pretty much acts as a bolt head. So it tightens on this bottom nut down here, and it just spins that stud down. You may need to hold a wrench on it. All right, that stud's tight. Now I'll take your 2 gaskets. I'm gonna throw my grid heater on the back side, like that. The spacer plate. Take your last 2 gaskets and throw them on. One cool thing I noticed about this intake is that it does have boost taps on the back, so I'm probably just gonna plug this one up and just route this straight into my intake. This looks freaking smooth. Here's just a quick view. That looks so good. Then just thread your nuts on. And that's it on how you install this. Really easy. All right, guys, so that's gonna be it for this video. I think this looks really good. It's gonna drop your EGTs quite a bit, I assume. I'm not gonna tighten everything down because I'm actually gonna take this off because I have the pump out, and the pump is actually right there. So I'm gonna throw the pump back in. I just want to get this in, that way I can make up the rest of my intercooler piping. I just made this one up. I'm waiting for the paint to dry on my pump, and then I'm gonna get the pump in, route my intercooler lines up, and then I'll come back to you guys. I'll show you that whole process. So if you haven't watched any of my other videos on the playlist, go ahead and watch those. And make sure you subscribe so you keep updated with this build. That's all I got for you. See you on the next one.